public universities in the country starting midnight on Monday. Speaking with correspondent Mekotoka, Professor Itwood
are fighting for is beneficial to all of us. Therefore, I cooperate so that at the end of the day, the goals of this strike will be achieved.
She also appealed to students to remain calm and support the action, insisting that the strike is in their best interest and aimed at improving the quality of education in public universities.
My message to the students is that they are aware that we have been calling on the government to look into the issues in our universities. The essence of this strike is also to ensure that they have facilities in the institutions and then be able to carry out their researches, especially in this 21st century, just as other students are doing, especially in this 21st century, just as other students are doing world over. So I want to believe that within these 2 periods, they should be able to cooperate with us because we want to teach them well.
ASU's demands include the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement with the federal government, revitalization and sustainable funding of universities, a 25 to 35% salary increase, and members and resolution of issues around third-party deductions. Meanwhile, the Academic Staff Union of Universities is dismissing the federal government's no work, no pay directive, saying no one can threaten its members into submission. ASU President Chris Piwana says the union will not succumb to what he describes as attempts to divide the academic community. He insists all academic bodies, including KONUA and NAMDA, are united in support of the 2-week warning strike. The Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, has ordered universities to enforce the policy and conduct roll calls to identify the project through despite the delays.
We've been in talk with them. We're all, I wouldn't say abandoned, but for lack of funds, the contractor withdrew from the site. So we've been discussing with them, and they gave me their word that although we have not finished all the discussion, but they will move into site, and I'm here to confirm that. Let me make this promise to our good people of Rivers State. This project that we started, by the special grace of God, we're going to complete it.
The 62.65-kilometer ring road, which cuts across 6 local government areas, was awarded to Julius Berger at a cost of over 195.3 billion naira. Work on the project was suspended during the emergency rule, reportedly over disagreements on variation fees with the then sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ebas. Now, still in Government House, Governor Fubara has sworn in Benebo Anabraba as the new secretary to the Rivers State government. He urged him to serve with humility and in the best interest of the state, not as a show of power.
Discharge your duty with respect, protect the interests of Rivers State. I want you to leave the office with honor. So this opportunity is not an opportunity to show power. It's not an opportunity of this, but I have a very big office. It's a call to duty. We're coming from a very, very, very bad position. We really need to reassure the people of Rivers State that we mean well for them, but especially now that peace has returned to the state. Help us to succeed in this assignment that God Almighty has given to us.
Now to flood matters. The Rivers State House of Assembly says it will take urgent legislative steps to tackle the recurring problem of flooding in the state. Speaker of the House, Martin Amihule, gave the assurance during a condolence visit to the family of Onyechi Peter, whose 16-year-old son and 17-year-old brother drowned during Friday's heavy downpour in Iliwolo community, Obiakwa local government area. Amihule described the incident as tragic and called on the state government to clear canals and drains to allow water flow freely.
We will do the needful from the legislature and we will convey same to the executive. The problem is not peculiar to only Elibolo. It's a general problem. Within Port Harcourt Metropolis, it's quite challenging. Drains are blocked. Canals need to be cleared, and there needs to be proper desilting of canals and other channels that water crosses to the rivers around us, up to the Atlantic Ocean. So there needs to be a conscious effort to address this matter frontally. And I think that is the best way to go. And I will do what is necessary to draw the attention of the Rivers State government to this challenge.
Correspondent Mekotoka reports that the Speaker also announced a support of 2 million naira to the bereaved family and advised residents to avoid living in flood-prone areas.
There's need for the River State government to look into the issue of clearing our canals, making them properly able to contain the flood water around the state. I have seen for myself the situation, but the family is bereaved. You cannot bring back two of your children that you have lost. On my own part, I will try to support you so you can be carrying on the best you can while we do what needs to be done. So on behalf of my family and the good friends of all their workers, we will give to you immediately the sum of 2 million naira.
Still talking flood, the director of the Center for Disaster Risk Management and Development Studies at the University of Port Harcourt, Professor Daniel Mbe, wants more hands on deck to reduce the impact of flooding and other disasters. Speaking at an event to mark the 2025 International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction, he says getting young people involved in disaster response and mitigation will help build a safer and more sustainable future.
When disasters strike, there is physical and human capital loss. There is also displacement of families and loss of human lives. As we celebrate this year's International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction, let us all deeply reflect on the consequences of disasters and what we can do individually and collectively to build resilient communities. It is my hope that in the days, weeks, and months ahead, we will encourage young people to get involved in local initiatives, volunteer work, and advocacy efforts so as to harness their energy and passion to create a more resilient and sustainable future.
Chairman of the Board of Trustees at the Center for Environmental Preservation and Development, Furuebi Akene, also stressed the importance of early warning, sensitization, and community preparedness.
Disaster preparedness activities are embedded with risk reduction measures and prevent disaster situations, and also resulting in saving maximum lives and livelihoods during any disaster situation, enabling their times will be less.
Keynote speaker Air Commodore Muonyili pointed out that flooding and oil spills remain major threats in Nigeria. He's calling for stronger partnerships between communities and government agencies to better tackle these disasters. And Vice Chancellor of Uniport, Professor Owunari Georgewell, also warns disaster risk education included in the national curriculum to better equip future generations. Correspondent Nnamdi Wala reports that the theme for this year's International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction is empowering the next generation for a resilient future. Now let's talk crime matters. The Rivers State Police Command says it has arrested the leader of a child trafficking syndicate, Blessing Jack, and several others. Police spokesperson Grace Iringikoko says operatives attached to the C4I intelligence unit arrested the suspect on October 9 at Iguruta in Ikwere local government area. Other suspects in custody include 30-year-old Chinonso Raymond, 32-year-old Chinyere Okurie, and Nkechi Nwankwo. Blessing is accused of exploiting vulnerable young mothers, stealing and selling their newborn babies for profit. Preliminary investigations show she previously served 3 years in prison in Calabar for child trafficking. The police say all the suspects have confessed to the crime. Away from that, the state pardons given by President Bola Tinubu last week are still generating reactions and controversies. A constitutional lawyer, Professor Richard Nwokocha, has faulted President Bola Tinubu's decision to grant presidential pardon to some convicted persons. Professor Nwokocha is a lecturer at Rivers State University, and he says the pardons are misplaced. According to him, this is because it benefits individuals convicted of drug and kidnapping offenses instead of the aged, terminally ill, or genuinely reformed persons.
I also share some of those concerns about the character of persons that the clemency was extended to. It's all right to consider those who are sick, especially those who are terminally ill, and those who are in prison for offenses that are not very serious, but who are not habitual offenders. But I do not understand how clemency can be extended to young persons who are involved in kidnapping or kidnapping things, or to persons who have been involved in serious matters like convicted for drugs.
He warned that the move could dampen the morale of security agencies already battling crime.
I think those who formulate the list and who need to be more serious minded so that it doesn't end up being an instrument for washing away the ability of the agencies to do their work for those they have been able to manage to convict. It whittles down the power of the agencies, and in fact, it discourages the agencies. This is Nigeria. You begin to have things like, if we pursue this one and convict him, they will release him eventually. So why don't I take the millions he's offering me and all that? We're already in a bad situation.
Meanwhile, here are the thoughts of some residents of Port Harcourt on the president's action.
Pardon people that are frauding on. That's like a bad idea. If you pardon them, that means you're supposed to take the penalty for them.
Now, when you pardon somebody that commit evil, that will learn even that one day they may get such a pardon. So whoever commit offense will face the judgment. If you give people pardon, you encourage others to do more, believing that one day they will get that pardon.
They won't pardon them. When them come back, to the village or the community, how them think say people will feel.
Well, in a related story, the family of the late Biliaminu Bello is condemning the presidential pardon granted to his wife, Miriam Sanda, who was sentenced to death for his murder. They say President Bola Tinubu's decision to include her among 175 pardoned inmates has reopened painful wounds. In a statement, the family described the pardon as the worst injustice they could experience, accusing the government of ignoring their pain and undermining the judicial process. They recall that Sanda's conviction was upheld by both the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, bringing them some sense of closure. The family says it is deeply hurt by the government's decision and is taking solace in the belief that ultimate justice rests with God. Still to come, we'll tell you about plans to start vaccinations in River State. Stay with us. Against measles, rubella, polio, and HPV will begin in River State in February 2026. Wife of the governor, Valerie Fubara, made this known during a sensitization event at Government House, Port Harcourt. Now, she says the campaign will target children between 9 months and 14 years across all 23 local government areas.
The best way to prevent rubella is through vaccination. Today's flag off therefore provides a new opportunity to scale that work, ensure that children, even in the most far-flung communities of River State, have access to life-saving vaccines, enhance immunization coverage among children in the state, and substantially reduce the numbers of zero-dose children.
She appealed to residents to support health workers to ensure the success of the program.
Please give our health workers the necessary cooperation to ensure the successful rollout of this vaccine. The measles rubella vaccine is safe, effective, and free of charge in all our health centers. All parents and caregivers are therefore requested that at the right time, they avail their children and wards of this opportunity to be vaccinated against both the measles and rubella viruses and thus protected from these deadly infections and their complications.
Deputy Governor Professor Ngozi Odo added that vaccinating the girl child will help prevent cervical cancer.
We must particularly highlight the positive impact on the girl child, who stands to benefit immensely from the HPV awareness and vaccination drive. Protecting young girls from HPV-related complications like cervical cancer is an investment in the future, enabling them to live healthy lives, empower lives, and become strong contributors to the society.
Correspondent Onyekachi reports that retired Justice of the Supreme Court, Mary Odili, and several other women attended the event after a sensitization walk from UTC along Aba Road to Government House. Now, residents of Muonyili community in Oyibo local government area of River State have taken to the streets to protest what they describe as a provocative statement by the chairman of Eche local government area, Chima Njoko, claiming the community belongs to Eche. The protesters also kicked against plans by the Eche chairman to collect taxes from traders operating along the Oyibo-Imo River Expressway in Muonyili. They insist the Supreme Court has already ruled in favor of Muonyili as part of Oyibo local government area.
Here is Oyibo local government. It's not Eche. We have gone to Supreme Court. We have gone to Appeal Court. We have a lower court judgment covering that our boundary with them is not here. So if he's interested about revenue, he should go to Eche and get revenue.
The recent judgment of 2016 specifically denied them all they asked the court to do concerning this place. They came even with plan, in High Court, 2016. And the judgment was against them. All they claim, the judge denied them all they claim. We still have the copy of the recent judgment. And our boundary with them is at a place called Uku Juju. We have documented evidences about this.
Here, as I said earlier, belongs to Muonyili village in Oyibo. They have a common boundary with Umuebulu, Eche, one of the villages in Eche local government. And we have a natural boundary. The natural boundary is Incarnate Junction, based on Supreme Court's ruling.
The protesters are warning business owners in the area not to pay taxes to Eche.
Because of the revenue, because we have kept quiet for a long time. I'm saying it here openly to everybody. Do not pay any revenue to any Eche revenue agent. What you should pay, where you should pay your revenue is Oyibo local government. If you pay to Eche local government, believe you me, you must pay Oyibo local government. They have not, when they come, resist them and call us. Henceforth, we are going to put Oyibo local government task force here. The task force of Oyibo is in existence, so please cooperate with them. Here is not Eche.
Now, they are also calling on the River State government and the police to call the Eche Council chairman to order. The chairman of Obiakpo local government area, Dr. Gift Wallo, is urging councillors representing the 17 wards to discharge their legislative duties in line with the law. He made the call during a 3-day seminar organized by the council in partnership with Gershon's Gate solicitors and advocates, with the theme Understanding the Duties of Councillors for the Sustainability of Our Ancient Democracy. Dr. Wallo also wants the lawmakers to meet the expectations of their constituents and strengthen governance at the grassroots.
I want to encourage us to take full advantage of this opportunity. Let us know that the responsibility ahead of us or in front of us is enormous, and we cannot go outside the law in doing whatever it is we may want to do. We must follow the law in policy formulation, execution, and review. We must ensure that the expectations of our people are not cut short, and we must work together in making sure that we don't only meet those expectations, but that we exceed them.
Lead facilitator Ichi Nwodo says the training is designed to equip councillors to perform their functions more efficiently and effectively.
Our ambition is to empower the councillors to be able to do their work effectively. So Nigeria really needs people who understand what democracy is and who can practice it in the real way democracy should be practiced, as they do all over the world.
The leader of the Obiakpo Legislative Council, Rex Melia, Abuchi Amadi, and former leader Dr. Nelson John both highlighted the importance of the training.
I really want to commend my chairman for coming up with this impactful program. Indeed, it's very educating for the tasks ahead of us. After today, we will hit the ground running.
The focal point of bringing out the councillors is for them to broaden up their minds, to tutor them on the rudiments of lawmaking, legislating, rudiments of things they need to learn how to do if they get to the Halo Chamber, and equally how to help council on issue of oversighting, the basic principle of legislating.
Moving on to Omoma, the paramount ruler and first-class monarch of Omoma, His Majesty King Onyekachi Amowo, has launched a new security initiative tagged Operation Know Your Neighbor. The initiative, unveiled during the monthly security meeting at his palace in Eberi, is aimed at sustaining Omoma local government area as one of the most peaceful areas in Rivers State. Representatives of security agencies, youth leaders, traditional chiefs, and community groups from all 52 communities were present at the meeting. After reviewing last month's security situation, it was agreed that residents must make conscious effort to know those living around them, while selected youth will be profiled by the police and mobilized to help keep the area safe. Omoma said the community's foundation is built on Christ, which, according to him, guarantees peace and development. He commended security agencies and community leaders for their commitment, noting that the community's alternative dispute resolution system currently operates at 80% effectiveness. The monarch also highlighted ongoing efforts to curb drug abuse, especially with inflows from neighboring Abia State, as community leaders, including CDC Chairman Comrade Nkem Anonam and youth leader Comrade Okudiri Wankwo, pledged to support the new security measures. And now, a chief in Omuhueche Alo in Ikwere local government area, Chukwuma Olunta, has cautioned a popular real estate developer in River State not to allow himself to be used to grab his land. Ohiamini Elim in Alo, Olunta, in an interview with our correspondent, said some agents are using a notorious land grabber who he said is presenting fake documents purporting an agreement to sell some of his land. He warned that the documents are fake and he will not sit idly and watch his ancestral land taken from him.
You are one of the estate developers. You are not dubious. Don't allow dubious land grabber to use or to contaminate your good name. That notorious land grabber is hiding under your cover to use some agents, somebody who are close to you, to think they can instill fear on me. I'm fearless. He's pushing me. He should desist. Go away from my land. He is presenting a concorded agreement to people. I signed 100 plot. I don't know what he did for for me to inherit land 100 plot. I don't know if he's from Muonyili community or he's from River State. He should be warned.
Chief Owonda also said his life is being threatened and accused the land grabber of attempting to assassinate him in order to take his land. He called on Obiakpo Ikwere, Eche local government area chairman, to intervene, support and stop a stranger from taking his land.
To grab my land. Obiakpo local government chairman, Dr. Gift Wolu, don't be there and allow a stranger come and grab the land of your brother. Please, my Ikure local government chairman, do not allow stranger to grab the land of an Ikure man. My life is under threat. They are threatening my life day and night. If anything happened to me, the security agents, they are aware of it. All the relevant agencies have alerted them. My life is under threat by one notorious land grabber in Port Harcourt.
The chief also called on the River State government to intervene and urgently address the growing cases of land grabbing before the situation escalates into a larger crisis. To politics now, a fresh bid by the National Assembly to move the 2027 presidential and governorship election to November 2026 is splitting opinions among opposition parties. The proposal, part of amendment of the 2022 Electoral Act, aims to allow all pre- and post-election litigations to be concluded before the May 29 handover. Lawmakers say the move will strengthen the electoral process, while critics warn it could give President Bola Tinubu more time in office until the process in favor of the ruling party. The amendment also includes early voting for security personnel, journalists and election officials, as well as mandatory electronic transmission of result. While the Labour Party has welcomed the proposal, the PDP and NNPP have raised concerns about timing and fairness. INEC has backed the plan, calling it a step toward greater transparency and efficiency. Minister of Work David Umahi doesn't think 2027 is the right time for the Southeast to produce Nigeria's president. He wants the region to wait till 2031, arguing that President Bola Tinubu's presidency already represents the entire South. Umahi says President Tinubu has been fair to the Southeast. Meanwhile, political realignments are gathering steam in Enugu State. Several members of Governor Peter Mbah's cabinet have officially joined the APC ahead of his expected defection. President Bola Tinubu has paid tribute to the late evangelist Omar Opai, describing him as one of God's generals who dedicated his life to spreading the gospel and promoting peace. Tinubu said Dr. Opai's ministry brought revival across Nigeria and parts of Africa, recalling landmark crusades in Ibadan and Lagos in the 1980s. We're going on a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the news. Night in a make-or-break World Cup qualifier in Uyo, Nigeria must win to keep their hopes of reaching the 2026 FIFA World Cup alive. Their opponents, the Cheetahs of Benin, are in high spirit after beating Rwanda and may qualify with a draw. Meanwhile, Super Eagles coach Eric Chell says his boys will be fully focused and purposeful tonight. Shell gave the assurance at a pre-match briefing in Uyo, where he admitted the team faced travel delays but insisted spirits remain high. He said the target is clear: to win and keep Nigeria's World Cup hopes alive. Team captain William Truss Ekong also expressed confidence, saying the players are motivated to deliver a convincing win and make their mark in history. Nigeria currently sits third in Group C with 14 points, trailing Benin Republic and South Africa. That's the news, but here are the headlines once again. We told you that Governor Fubara has promised that the contractor handling the Port Harcourt Ring Road project will return to site soon. You also heard ASU insisting the federal government's threat of no work, no pay won't deter strike. We brought you a report of the police busting a child trafficking syndicate in Rivers, arresting leaders and others. And we told you about the more complaints that have greeted President Tinubu's state pardon. The news was edited by Ufoma Ebamano. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I am Ifechukwu Muonyili. Many thanks for listening.
And the National Productivity Order of Merit Award goes to...